Students, good morning. So in this class, we discussed about lighting and interior. So let's see what are the options to light an interior. So here I have also attached an interior lighting interior set, a Maya file with this video. Please to download that, and there you could find few videos like this. So there is a folder called interior lighting set. This interior lighting set has been attached with this Maya file. So I hope you guys would download and use this. So the first thing we do is please to download this file and place it in a position, place it in your hard disk from where you can access later. So it has all the files inside it. And if you open the scenes file, there you can find the sample scene. So we are going to open that. But before we open that, do not directly open this file from Maya. You have to set the project. So I have to set this interior lighting set as a project file first. So let me copy the position where it is now. Now I go to my Maya, I go to my file. So I want to set that as a position. So I go to set project. Okay, then I'm going to give the location which I copied. So this is the folder. This is the Maya project that we have created already, or the one you have downloaded. Click that and please hit set. So once you hit set, what would happen is now Maya would by default, it would connect to that folder. So when you go to file and hit open scene now, you can see by default, it opens that folder. Yeah, the interior lighting set. By default, it opens the project. And inside that, you could open the sample scene.ma. The moment when you open, it would ask whether you would like to save save this unwanted, unopened file. You can hit don't save. Okay. Now you will get a pretty scene like this. So this is an interior room where you will be having 4 viewports here. So this is an interior room which is exactly like a cube shape. It is one of a cube shape, and this is the render angle that we have, and these are the other views: top view, front, and side. So all it has, all this room has is one window, and then a table here with a flower vase. So it's a table and a flower vase, and there are 2 portrait and landscape pictures inside the house, and this is the building. So these are things inside. So the first thing before we do something is I would like to create my own shelf and name this thing. So first thing is I already have a shelf called my, which I have already created. I hope you remember. Or you can open any shelf, whichever you're comfort with. You can open any shelf and you can start working with. I already have a my shelf here. If you don't know how to create this my shelf, you can click here and you can create a new shelf. And here you can name whatever the name you want and hit OK. You will create a shelf. So now I already created a shelf in the name of my. So let's add with this in this shelf. I'm going to create something different. What are those? So this is the perspective camera we are inside. If you could look at the bottom section, you could see it is called as a perspective camera. So now I want to set this viewport. How? When you go to the view menu under bookmarks, you can find edit bookmarks. Ensure you are in the perspective view and go to view, bookmarks, edit bookmark. And there I just named this as render_view. Description is interior camera angle. This is just for my understanding. The plan is I want to make this as an icon and come here. So whenever I click this icon, this bookmark will be activated. Let's see what is that. And here you could see there's a button called add to shelf. Once I click that, see that? It's added now. Great. Now I can just apply and close. Now what would happen here is if I just accidentally zoom out, look at that. I zoomed out now. Okay. Now I'm outside the box. because I wanted to see how the window looks like. So I'm holding my Alt left click. Yeah, then I'm looking inside. So Alt left click I'm doing. Guys, if you note here carefully that my system has, when I press Alt and when I click the mouse, you could see there is an icon with the mouse shape, and also it also shows what button I'm going to press. Please look now. Alt, I'm holding Alt now. It shows your tooltip, Alt. I press a left click, you see a mouse. This is just for your understanding, I'm showing this. So if by any way you don't understand what was the option I'm doing, please do look into this. When you scroll through the video, you can find that whatever I do, whatever the shortcut keys I press, you can see all of them here. Yeah, you can see all of them here. Yeah, this would really helpful for many of you. Okay, great. Now, let's back to what we were doing. So in this, now I just would like to look into this picture. I select the picture and I just click the frame, press F, it's a fit to screen. Yeah, you can see what's inside. Then if you want to see what is here, you can click this frame, press F. When the camera is focusing here, you can see what is in this picture. Similarly, I can select this frame, press F. Now I can see what is here. Then the window, press F. Now I can see what's here. So if you would like to check what is here and what object, so that if you want to check something, okay, fine, everything is done, I verified. Now, what if I want to go back to my scene? That's where it comes. So now what we do is, when you click this button, see the render view, now I'm here. The moment when I click this button, the camera will take me to the initial stage of how it was when we set this icon. So when this we call it as a bookmark now. So click this now. Great. You see that? This is my render view. Let me go back. Now I'm here. But at the moment when I click, you can see, great. So that's really a good option that you would use in many cases. We call this as a bookmark. You can also achieve this by go to view menu. Under bookmarks, you have the render view. Great. See now, view, bookmarks, render view. It's all the same. Either you click that or you click this icon. It's fine, but still I have one problem. I just want this as my render view. I want this in my render view. So I want to, when you put your mouse here, it shows you a tooltip called render view. Fine. When I put my mouse, it gives me a description called as render view. Great. Now, and also when I put my mouse there, you can see at the bottom left side at the same tooltip. You see that? It says render view. Yeah. Now, instead of that, I want to put the name here on the icon, like a render view. Okay. So how to do that? Again, go to the left side of the shelf. That you can find a small gear button. Please to click that and choose shelf editor. Great. And inside the shelf editor, you can find you're in the shelf my, because this is my shelf name my. And previously there was motion graphics and mesh, and there is all the shelves icons are here. If you take mesh, all the icons are here. If you take motion graphics, all the icons are listed at the right side. If you take my, all the icons are listed here. So the last icon, which is the 9th icon, is the one which I created. So you can just scroll down here and you can see the last one to render. This is the one. And the icon name is, it just shows the command button.png. It's a common PNG file that Maya uses for the melt script. If you want to change this M symbol into something on your own, you could do that also. So I think I have, maybe I can just select any. I can just go to my downloads and I have, you see that? So there are many icons you could create with the help of this. So if you want to create any icon, you could do with that. Maybe I can just, so you can do anything here. So I have a free I could even use this icon. Maybe I can just hit open. You see that now? It just shows it's updated as free. Another icon. Yeah. So it's up to you to decide what icon you wanted. But anyway, I'm okay with this. And just a minute. This is that view. And if you want to give any name, you can name it as not this shelf name, the icon name. The icon name is render view, but maybe you can give something else to it. So that's how it goes. Maybe I can just make this small. Maybe go to my settings, shelf editor again. Yep, I think it just connected somewhere else. I think I had to go down. Maybe I go here, Maya Classic, and I reset my workspace. Okay, great. Now again, I go to my shelf here and shelf editor. I think my shelf editor is hiding somewhere else, which I am unable to see that. So, so it's fine as of now. So when I click this now, I could be able to change anything. So maybe I can right click, I can hit edit here, and you could do the same. Fortunately, that window has been saved somewhere else. Okay, anything happens before, I would like to save this file. So when I click this save button, oh, it just overwrite the file. Okay, anyway, great. And I'm going to file, save scene as, and let me save this as my interior class 1. So I'll save the file as interior class 1. So from here, I could be able to go through and do things. Maybe I can just close Maya and open again to see what's the update happens here. Okay, let me just the very reason I'm reopening is again, I'm unable to access that Maya shelf editor because I accidentally docked that shelf into some other position. So go to file again, and I would like to open the scene. And I hope the project has been already set. But if by any chance, if it is not set, then I would be in a situation to set that again. So again, I go to my set project to ensure whether it is set. Anyway, select the folder, it's set. Now hit open, and I would like to go with interior class 1 and don't save. Now I go here and hit shelf editor. Okay, I think my shelf editor is hiding somewhere. Yeah, I had to find it, and anyway, let it go. It's done. So the moment now when I click this, I get this back. Now I go back somewhere again. I click this. Yeah, the render angle is good. So this is what we need, and this is why we have this shelf icon. Great. Now, after this, what we're going to do. And remember, when I just use this, whenever you feel the file is heavy, I press 4 for wireframe view. In this view, the file would become so easy, so you can easily left click and you can navigate inside the scene. That won't be too heavy. If you feel that your file is too heavy, you can either press 4 for wireframe or 5 for shaded mode. What is shaded mode? This is shaded mode when I pressed 5, but you can't see the colors or the texture that files that I applied on any of the 3D model. All you can see is only 3D model without any materials or textures. That is what 5 is about. It is a shaded mode. And 6 is for texture mode and the color mode. You can see all the texture images you applied and the colors inside it. 7 is a lighting mode. Okay, that will be useful only when you apply a color. Sorry, when you apply a light. So now when I press 7, you couldn't see anything here because everything is black because there are no lights. These two spaces are hollow spaces. So from the hollow spaces, the default light comes inside Maya. What are the default light? When you go here and click at the left side, the outliner, that you can find, this is the outliner, and inside that you can find the default light set. So the default light set comes into the room through the hollow windows. That's how we get this. Okay. Now, in order to go back, I can press 5 or 6. That will be fine. Now, after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an area light. Which area light? Or am I going to create menu and use the default Maya's area light? No, I'm not going to use that. Instead, I'm going to use the instead I'm going to use the Arnold's area light. So what I do here is I just go to Arnold. So Arnold menu, and in this Arnold menu, you can find lights and you can find an area light. The moment when I click this, a new light will appear inside the scene. As of now, there are no light inside except the default light. So don't worry about the default light. And there are other 2 lights inside in the scene. But anyway, we won't be, when you select this, you could see there's an area light 1, there's an area light 2 options are there. Yeah, I can just show you where they are. When I press 4 in the scene, I can see the wireframe. So there are 2 lights, which is already, it seems like it's already there. Anyway, I just delete them. I don't want that. Okay, fine. Now the scene has no lights. Now what I do is I'm going to create new lights from the Arnold menu. So let's go to Arnold menu here and choose the lights, which is an area light. I go to Arnold here and I choose light and an area light. Great. The moment when I hit, you could see there is an AI area light 1, and it is there, which is too small of size. So maybe I can press R, and when I press R from the center, the yellow, I left click and I drag it diagonally to make it bigger. Now, when I make it bigger, you could see the scale size, how much has increased. There's a channel box. In the channel box, you could witness the amount of scaling which is done to the object. So here it's too much value, but I can just click, drag, and leave my mouse and press enter 50 and press enter. Now that the entered value will be applied to all 3 text boxes, which are the scaling axis of X, Y, and Z axis. Great. So this is the area light. Now, if you look into the area light that we have already discussed in a previous class, from that, the area light emits light into the direction where this line focus. So now the line focus on this side, so the light will be emitted on this side. So how much is the area light? How much energy it is emitting? So all these details that you can achieve with the help of an attribute editor. So let me click this attribute editor here. Okay, ensure you select the light and click this button here, or you can press Control A as a shortcut. So select this, press Control A, or click this. There you can find the area lights properties. So here you can see what's the color and intensity, all those details. So the first thing we would do is, let me just go to my Arnold and open Arnold render view. It just opens, it won't render. It just opens, great, it opened. And now when I press this play button, it will render, not like that. We have created a light, which is an area light, but why it is not visible in the scene here? That will be the first question, right? So we already discussed about it. But anyway, I tell you again, if I increase the intensity from 1 to 6 or 10, that is fine. Still, I don't see the result there. It's rendering here. Now, not only with that, there is another option called exposure. You have to increase that too. Now, let me increase the exposure here. The moment when I increase the exposure to 5 or 10, now you could see it now emitting too much of light into the scene. So this all happened because of increasing the exposure value too much. So the exposure value plays a major role because that now it is too much exposing. How could we say there's a too much exposing, sir? When you're unable to see the material of the object, which are, this is a wood, but look at that, it is just yellow. I couldn't see the property. This is a floor, but now I could see it is a floor because it's all over too much light. And this is a photo frame, a landscape photo frame where I couldn't see anything because there's too much light there. So this is called overexpose, and we could see too much of lighting is there. So I don't want too much of exposure everywhere. So this is one such option we have. And there is one other thing, which is like we discussed in the last class when we dealt with this area lighting. Among all the options, there are three things that we discussed. One is the intensity, another one is an exposure, and the third one would be the normalize. These are the three things we discussed. What if I disable the normalize? God, that's too much light now. When the normalize is enabled, the light and the intensity exposure value, whatever you given, looks like a mediocre level, okay, like a normal level. But the moment when you disable the normalize, it's too much light energy. So what really happens is when you enable the normalize, it just does all the value, just averages all the value and put them inside between 0 and 1. That's what normalize is all. But the moment when you enable this off, then whatever the value you apply, that would be applied as such. It is not averaged or normalized. So let me disable normalize, and I can bring this intensity to 1. And I can bring the exposure to 1. Now, even under 1, you could be able to see too much of light there. So this is an example of how does this thing work. Maybe I could just save the scene. Great. So since it's live, whatever changes you do, it would affect the entire region. And if you would like to rotate the light, you can press E and you can rotate. Only to this side or this side, whichever side you feel convenient, you could use that. What if I move this light here? Okay, here is this light. Look at this. So now when if you notice this light, it's just emitting a good, decent amount of light into the scene. But I don't want to emit this lights like this. But where we can use such light is, look at that, where the light is emitting only to this direction, but not on the back direction. So if there's any way you want to light to emit only on one side, not the other side, then you could use that. So we have intensity 1. Maybe if I increase to 1.5, you could see a decent amount of light there. And not only that, do not try to increase the exposure. That's always make too much damage. This is called light bleach because you're unable to see the property or texture of the wall. So don't do that. So 1 would be too much for exposure, but anyway, it's fine. It's a decent amount. I don't get much problem there. And what is the other thing? Just scroll down. There you can find a light temperature. When you use the color temperature, it tells you exactly what's the color of the light value there. So you can pick any color. It's like it just gives you a color value. What if instead of 6,500, I choose 12,000? 12,000 have a light effect like this. What if it's 5,000? Yeah, it's a morning light. It can show the 5,000 color will be like this. If it is 15,000, the color will be blue like this. This is not the color that you can change. Whatever the number you give based upon that, this will show you how the light will be applied. So by default, it was 6,500, and I stick with this. I stick with this color, which is like a morning light. So I'm okay with that. And next to that, you have a light shape. Light shape tells about how much light, how you want the light shape to be. So here I just click. Then I choose my cylinder. So instead of quad, which is quad angle here, what if I choose cylinder? The moment when I click the cylinder, you can see your area light is now changed into a cylinder shape. With the help of the cylinder shape, you can able to make many changes. See, it just emits light. Yeah. When you push the light outside, you can't see anything. When you bring the light inside the scene, you could see it like this. Like a tube light. You could use this as a tube light. So instead of this shape, what if I could just I just press E and rotate it. Yeah, you can see that now. So this is what happens. Anyway, I'll just pull this inside. Okay, so the advantage of this one is it's a cylinder, so it would emit light everywhere around the seat. So that's the advantage of this. Then we have a disc shape, which emits light only on the one direction. But it's almost like an like a normal area light, which is like a quad angle. But the only difference here is the shape of the light is round. So that's the only difference here. But I don't think there's much that would make much of a difference when it comes to work. So you can always click and go back to quad. And you have a spread, how much spread you want, how much light energy you want to spread inside the thing. So instead of 1, what if I hit 10? So I think the maximum value is from 0 to 1. So you can just decrease the spread here. You see that? Now I'm decreasing the spread, and all you could see here is how much light energy is decreased there. Okay, if you want to increase the light, see, it's now started to illuminate the entire room. So that's spread. And look at this now. I made this spread maybe a little value, maybe like 0.03 or something. So now it's like a square shape, exactly like the shape of an area light. And what if I just round all the edges? So look at that. I just rounded all the edges. So now it looks like a shape like that. Okay, so we can change that shape however we want. So that's one advantage. And also about the soft edges, if you feel that edges are not soft, if they are hard, then you can increase the soft edge parameter here. That would make the edges much softer. That would help us in many cases, but obviously it would reduce some light intensity also, because the more the edges get softer, that much blunt the light will be. So that is one way of saying that. Then we have shadow. So these are the cases we have here. Anyway, I just enable my spread to 1. And instead of this facing on this side, maybe I could just rotate this light. So let's press E and rotate the light here. Maybe I go to my channel box, and there I can give the value. It is 87 degree rotation, 90 in y-axis, but instead of 87, I give 90 to make it perfect. And I could just move it a little more back. Now look at that, how it looks like. Because this side of the room is getting light because of the light which is on the other side. So the light from the other side is emitting light to this side of the scene. So that was really good. Now we could use this light to lit the scene and also to do the other things. And after this, now look at that, my rendering is done. And what was the light which I applied here that now acts as an ambient light to just fill the screen here. So as of now, the screen is filled. So now we can able to light the scene. Now, is it all enough to light the scene? Of course, it's enough as of now, because from one light, you should not try to light the entire scene. For example, just increasing the intensity of the area light will not fill your room with light exactly like your real world. So in order to create a real world kind of light effects, one light would not be sufficient. We should go with some multiple lights to make the scene look more realistic. Okay, so this is one thing. And if you'd like to make any changes, you can just click area light, and you can go to your attribute editor, and there you can make few changes. So instead of this color, what color you would like, okay, all those changes that you could do. But anyway, this is fine for me now, and I would like to go with another set of lighting. So guys, stay with me, that we'll be discussing another set of light now. And before I go, I just go to my file, and sorry, I go to my view. Oh, you remember store snapshot? I just click the button. So whatever the snapshot we were doing, that will be saved here. That's it. Yeah, I stop this now and let me just save this thing. Fine, guys. We'll go back now and we go to the next. I want you guys to practice this in your class. And after this, we'll discuss much more about adding more lights into the scene in the next class. Thank you.